Welcome to Business on the Vine. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, and in this dynamic series, we dive into the challenges, breakthroughs, and victories of entrepreneurs who have turned their passion into success. Welcome.
Hello, and welcome back to Business on the Vine. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, and I am so excited today to have Jim Keys with me. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Jen. It's great being with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I know. We're here at Barrel Oak Winery. We want to thank you so much for providing the wine. We're going to be sipping some wine as we're talking about business on the vine. And, I'm breakfast morning. Yeah. We are filming in the morning, so it's going to be breakfast time. But, I'm so excited to have you here because, we got it secret thought. And I was so excited to get your book and read about, we still get about halfway through it, but I love that you talked about it to limit to certain things. But I want to share a lot about you. So much experience in the business world, and we want to squeeze as much as we can out, and it's not going to happen. That be okay with you?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, great. So let's talk about your humble beginnings. I think it's important to know that because all of us as business owners, we come from somewhere. And I think people that are really successful as you are, as people are going to find out very shortly, they think, you were given it. It's going that way. Yeah. So share with us your experience.
Yeah, I wish it would have been would have been really easier had I been given everything. But, I think growing up, were challenges for champion. Right? I literally grew up this career with shaft in the water. Well, post the challenges, I felt really bad as on it, broken family, and all that good stuff. But to me, in hindsight, an advantage, because it built into me a sense of resilience, a sense of self-preservation, if you will, that a recognition that no one was there to take care of me. I didn't have a safety net, so I had to do it myself. And that, it's in a way such an advantage versus those who are less fortunate because everything's been given to them. That's those twos.
Yeah. Do you think will brought a sense of work ethic to you? Does that come with that you've been able to pull through all of the business that you have?
I think it did. I think some of my work ethic, though, also came from my mother and father and their example. My father, neither of them ever graduated from beyond the sixth grade. They were some of the hardest working people you could ever meet. Set a really good example from that perspective. But yes, I think that sense of self-sufficiency also made it pretty clear. If I don't work hard, my sense was to succeed, since I did come from that challenging background, I always believed I would have to work just a little harder than everyone else.
I'm looking right. And so it was something that pushed me to say, I'm going to prove to you guys that that's something. So as long as like the 212 degrees, right?
Yes.
That extra temperature is boiling water and birds flying out of that. I'm wondering.
And you gone from Pat to Jenny, the shiny penny.
I've not fluid. I'm wondering if, just to stay on this work ethic piece of this, could it have, or did you have any moments where you're saying, I don't want to work as hard as they do? Because that's part of it too.
Not as hard as they do. I don't want to have these restrictions. My dad used to say, it's not about working hard. Working hard is fine. But you work as hard as you want at what?
Yeah.
As opposed to having to work really, really hard at something. Really not having reached that. Very
No, that's definitely that. So that definitely makes a difference. But I think you can go work first because the story of two brothers, right? Like one did one thing, one did the other, and so you didn't like. So you had those too, right? And I had that too. Where my brother plays the victim, and I'm the victor. But that's only because you have this and you that. But I worked for that, and you could have done it too, right?
Let me try this one. So just your siblings say, Well, Sharon, you were just a peach.
Oh yeah. Well, that worked hard.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I get that too. I won the lottery. Oh,
Right.
while you're out,
Yeah. Doing whatever.
doing whatever and looking for it. And here's how I count.
Yeah.
It's still right or wrong. My brothers wanted more short term.
Yes.
Of course. I just go get a job right now.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. Mine is deferred gratification.
Yeah.
I'd rather put in the effort now and I'll have a better term.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of is what the difference is. But the trouble is, once you go down that path of instant gratification, it's hard to.
It's challenging. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of breaking work, and I've had to experience that, myself, because, coming from that background, everything was needed. Every little stepping stone was important, right? And so it becomes that habit. What's his name? Oh gosh, Dave Ramsey. He says, if you work like no one else later, no, he doesn't say, if you save like nobody else, or if you do some kind of phrase, if you do this now, later you'll have more of that anyway. And I wish you could remember the quote here, but I do love that delayed gratification instead of short-term gain for long-term pain, because that's part of it.
It really is. Jen, it is. Maybe I can see it differently now as a business person. It's investing.
Yeah, in yourself.
In yourself, yeah. So I am going to defer my gratification. I'm going to rate. I'm going to work really, really hard now. And that's the investment will have compound interest.
Yeah.
And the benefits that I get later on. Some people have a really hard time with that. And even when it comes down to college, the investors in college seems as daunting, insurmountable loss.
Right.
Whereas business persons step back and look at that investment to yourselves. And no investment pays out in today's dollars.
Right.
Most investments will run in the business world will run a discounted cash flow on the future benefits to an investment made today. Well, we don't look at that. We look at college, we say, oh gosh, $30,000 in debt.
Or 100,000. Yeah.
But the reality is, over the course of a lifetime, that difference is as much as $2 million in lifetime swings. Discount that back today.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely agree with that. Okay, so you had these humble beginnings.
Sure.
You went to college, right? You went to college, you got your MBA as well. I know, you've got a lot of education. We're going to talk about it, education too. But where did you land? Let's break the news to everybody. Right.
Yeah, well, first of all, I didn't even have to spell MBA. I did not have any idea. We're a small town.
Yeah.
I had no idea what business was. It was a factory my dad worked at. I wanted to do business. Yeah. So I was going to be a lawyer. And so I applied after college to law schools, got into a couple. Villanova, where Hope went to school.
Yes,
I know. No, exactly. I should have gone to Villanova. Right, they had been his classmate, actually. Yeah. But no, I had a professor intervene and recommend that I go to business school. I really didn't think that was a good idea, but he convinced me it would be a point of difference. He said, "You'll be a lawyer with a business degree. It'll help your law career."
Nice.
Okay, so that's what I ended up doing. But when I applied to Columbia, the business school accepted me and the law school waitlisted me. So I started it backwards.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Well, after a year at Columbia, I had an internship with Gulf Oil, now Chevron. And they offered me a full-time job, and I was starving to death. So I finished the MBA. This is back to school. Finished the MBA. We'll give you a full-time job. Yeah. So I was working for the chief financial officer at this now Chevron. Doing M&A.
Plus, were you in Dallas at that time?
I was not. I was in New York, or school in New York.
Okay.
And then thinking they were going to send me back to Texas. They sent me to Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know that. Okay. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to blow your mind with what Jim did in his career.
Can't wait.
Well, welcome back to Business on the Vine. We're here with Jim Keys, and I am so excited to talk about this next segment because this is how everybody is going to know you, and I love this. And we talked about this last night at dinner, right? I was saying that, when there's a celebrity entrepreneur, And people are like, what is that title? What is that? Because we all know celebrities, right? We all know celebrities. But when you run into a celebrity entrepreneur, then you learn, you did what? You're part of what? Oh my gosh, tell me more.
Kind of under the radar.
Right.
Mine is
But I love it because you're so brilliant in business. And I can't afford yes. So you were at Gulf Oil, and then what happened next?
Well, Chevron merged with Dole.
Yeah.
And I was part of the merger team, had great opportunities there. But out of 11, the Southland Corporation had just acquired a downstream of an oil company, Shitty Service, called Citgo. And they were planning to put gasoline at every one of their stores. So they needed some people from the industry and recruited me, asked me to come join them, which I did. And that was literally the way my career began at 7-Eleven through the retail gasoline.
Now, right. Because I remember when you were all little, right? 7-Eleven didn't have gas. I talk about it all the time. I use it as an example of commodity, because, and this is a good business question too, because so many people are coaches, so many people are business owners. We all become a plumber, right? A carpenter. We all become this commodity, and when you're searching for gas, right? You drive down the road and you're like, this one's cheaper than that or that. But if you're hankering for a Scorpio, you'll pay anything for gas.
And you're always hankering.
Right. You're always, especially on 7-7, right? Or
7-Eleven,
but yeah, you're hankering for that Scorpio. You'll pay anything to go to, whether it's cheaper or whatever, because you have that drive to get there. And that's what differentiates, business owners, in the market. But
all of us.
Absolutely. That's what you were told when you became a attorney, right? So you get to Southland Corporation. You did something to change the name as well. Tell us about that.
We were 7-Eleven from way before I got there. Yeah, it was open from 7 a.m. till 11 p.m., which was pretty unusual for retail many years ago. Now, it's one of those plan ahead things. They probably should have called it 24/7.
Right.
But no one back then thought they'd be open 24.
Right.
So, I had the opportunity to join in. By the way, thank you for calling me an entrepreneur. No, and seriously, we don't think of people in corporation as entrepreneurs. We think of people that go out and start up. But in a corporation or any kind of business, you must be an entrepreneur.
Must have board.
But now the irony is that the corporate world, think about the definition of corporate. It means coming together as one. It'll be entrepreneur of this kid. Yet you still, to help the company and help your career, have to still be an entrepreneur. Many it's cool.
Yeah, I love that. And I came from corporate world too. And I was always restless.
Yeah.
Always restless. Why is looking for new ideas and new ways, and maybe we should try this, and let's try that. And it was just so frustrating, and that's why I ended up getting it. But I had to get pushed out of that. What did you do at 7-Eleven that was so inspiring? When you think back on this, you think, this is the one thing that I'm really proud of, that I feel great about having done.
So many things, but I'll share how I got started. Here we were in the gasoline business. 7-Eleven's strategy was to be the lowest price gasoline anywhere. Now, the problem is we were competing with major oil companies who made the product. Right. They could always be cheaper than us. So we had a strategy that we couldn't actually fulfill. Now, you hit the nail on the head. We were a convenience retailer. Our approach to gasoline, I brought the different strategies that said, this is about convenience. Let's just make it easier. Let's bring pay at the pump. Now, the company resisted pay at the pump because, no, you have to force people to come into the store.
And buy the stuff
in the store. And yet my logic was, wait, are we in the buy stuff in the store business? Or are we in the convenience space? And it's inconvenient to force someone in. Prepaid listing. They can come in and out twice. So we were the first to adopt gasoline island farming. Then the second thing I was able to do on the gasoline side is to use data to price gasoline so that we didn't do it the easy way, which is, I was shocked to find out most gasoline got priced, and still sometimes does. Someone looks across the street and says, "What's up?"
Run in there.
Exactly. 1 penny up, 1 penny down. And what we did is we built some models to be able to say, how much can we price that competitor and make the most amount of money for the store and still satisfy the customer? Where is that sweet spot?
It's value, right? It's definitely the value there. I definitely get that. I remember when I was in the mortgage station on financial services, everyone would say, well, how are you bringing in, millions of dollars in revenue to your company and still compete, against everybody else? But I didn't have to keep pricing that, right? To that value.
Actually, people think price is the lowest common denominator. Yeah. And it's the easiest tool in your toolkit is just drop the price. But it's not necessarily where you make them smarter or the way you satisfy you.
Yes, everybody's hearing this because this is what happens if someone comes from a corporate world that's out of severe and cannot secure it. So they should just start at the lowest price. But the problem with that is, I'm going to talk about businesses.
Sure.
The problem with that is that you have 100 people paying $47 versus going out and getting one $50,000 client. You have an influx of cash, right? And all the problems of the world are solved. And you can move yourself forward too. Where people come in thinking, I just need to be like everybody else and not change.
There's another consideration. People use rivals as their primary differentiator.
Yeah.
There's one key driving cost. It's cost.
All the time.
And if you don't have the lowest cost units, you know this is trusted me the lowest price.
It'll last for a while. You'll exhaust yourself.
Yeah.
And you won't be known for what you do for people, but rather like clients.
In fact, that feeds right into the thing I think is business is all about change. Here's the answer. People make change. It's like, hell no, it's up to change.
Yeah, but I mean, you should have passed through the change door when you became an entrepreneur because that's going to happen.
You have to live change. You have to live change. And change is inevitable. It's going to happen with you or without you. So how you respond to that change is what it's all about. It's the difference between success and failure.
Yeah. I love that.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. Keep that thought in mind. Yeah, let's have some wine.
Why not?
And stick with us. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to the show. I am sitting here with Jim Keys. I'm so excited to spend more time with you. And time's flying.
It is.
Time's flying. We gotta get everything in. Well,
Look
the
where we
beautiful
are.
setting is absolutely gorgeous. It really is. Well, we were talking before the break about change, right? Right. Change is inevitable, and especially in business. What happens when a company is resistant to
It's normal. It's human. It's a very human experience because people are what make up companies, and people should listen to change.
Yeah.
So when that attitude carries over and becomes part of the company culture, then it stops it stops innovating, and it stops its ability to respond quickly or proactively versus competition. So that resistance to change can, you see how many companies just kill.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example.
Go ahead. I know what you're going to talk about.
No, I'm going to add a better word. I think I know what you think. I grew up, as you may have, with Sears catalog.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. I couldn't wait till that came in.
Yeah, it was smart.
Dog earrings. Yeah.
I looked at the cowboy outfits and stuff like that. And camping stuff.
Yeah.
And then Sears decided they needed stores.
Yeah.
And they kind of discontinued the catalog in favor of their stores. And then Walmart came along and kind of had a better formula, lower costs, and turned that into lower prices and a different value equation. And then along comes Amazon. And then they threatened Walmart with what?
Yeah. Fast delivery.
Catalog.
A catalog. Oh, interesting.
Think about it.
Well, it's an online catalog.
It's an online catalog. It's the Sears catalog online.
Yeah.
It just made it more convenient.
Yeah.
That's the Sears catalog. Stop. He's the river the only Sears song ever read.
That. But now it takes too long to recur. And I see this a lot. And, my son and I talk about this all the time because, we want to talking. And, when you see change happening, like right now, AI, right? There's a lot of companies like, I don't like that AI stuff. I don't like that. But the longer that you don't interact, right? These people their business is going up. The longer that you don't interact, and then get back to market is going to take forever. So what do you say about that? I mean, seeing this change in AI right now.
So here's what happens. One of these the great event news, schools, they tell us
Right, right.
every time a news walk technology urges people to read the image. All of it is
Oh, remember when the question that someone asked, I think it was it Jane Kirk, or somebody asked and said, what is the World Wide Web?
yeah.
Help us understand that, right?
So, you know, it's great event.
Yes.
First. And what to do it? Creed, all of this. Arab people, you know, that's a people make money.
Right.
So these new technologies will create new opportunities. But here's what happens. Fear creeps in.
Yeah.
We resist the change, and then we become a victim of the change.
Absolutely.
So another expression that I've been using a lot was, well, we're always looking for certainty. We want certainty. I don't want to adopt AI until I know exactly what it's going to do.
Yeah, the waiting to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Certainty is the enemy of certainty. It's in unconscious that opportunities rise.
Right.
And he has humans. We learn what's outside of our.
Everything.
That's where we learn.
Yeah, it's like the quantum leap, right? The quantum leap there is, I don't know the steps I'm going to take to get there. I just know I'm going, so I'm going to start walking. Yeah.
And you'll learn along the way. So if you can get over it, this is what we have to do as entrepreneurs. We have to get over the fear of failure. There is no such thing as failure. If you learn from every mistake you make, then you progress and you'll succeed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And we're in that right now, where we just made some changes to like coaching programs, where you deliver it, and we just like went straight into it. You know, as fast as we could, we're going to deliver it. It seems as wonky. We don't care. We learned from it, right? And then we said, okay, so make this adjustment, make that adjustment, and maybe it's a complete turnaround again. We don't know, but it's the excitement. And there are people that are just like, I don't like that excitement. You know, how do they get out of that? Is just mindset work? Is it go find a breakthrough coach, or is it, hey, maybe I'm in the wrong business?
I have a formula that I use that I've been telling everybody that change equals opportunity. It's the acronym CEO. You really want to be a CEO, ironically.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
And I give them 3 elements of change because, like you said, change is inevitable. It's got nothing to do with the change. It's got everything to do with the way we react to it.
Mm-hmm.
But our reaction to change comes from what? Well, confidence. The antidote.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. Like, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care.
If you have confidence, how do you know confidence? So in my book, I've actually outlined a path to understanding confidence. Our mind is a computer, and sadly, we are programmed for self-preservation to have fear. But when it comes to today's world and business, there's nothing to fear. So confidence is something that we can reprogram our brain instead of reacting out of fear or flights with a fight or flight syndrome. Instead, we can turn to data, we can turn to facts, we can turn to preparation. Preparation is the best way.
Oh, yeah. It's always been that
Because
way.
fear
Yeah.
is concept, right?
Yeah. Or spawning, right? I always say fear, flight, or spawn, because it's spawning too. So that's, ooh, I don't want to be part of that. And maybe I shouldn't, you know. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
So in your career,
Or
kind of.
passive-aggressive.
Oh, yes.
That shows
Oh,
Bonnet
yes.
shows up as passive aggressive behavior. Yes, boss. That's a good idea.
Right. I'm going to go sit over
You're
here.
not going to do that.
Maybe he'll forget.
Yeah.
Maybe he won't bring it up again. We'll worry about that later. Yeah, I love that. So in your career, you know, and I know you had some fun with 7-Eleven. You told a really fun story, and I actually heard this story before you said this. You're not going to like others to hear
Sure.
about the actual logo. It was a really cute story. It
Yeah.
really is.
Well, the agency came up with the stylized 7-Eleven with the bar through it, and European countries will put a slash through a 1 or 7.
And I do it for my 7. So I don't know why. But
Yeah. And so the agency came up with this idea of putting a number 7 and then the numeral 7, and then
The words 11.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the letters.
Right. 11.
11.
Pen. Yeah.
But their first iteration came out all caps, ELEVE, and it looked very almost rigid and harsh. And it was the chairman's wife. Now, this is urban legend. He has passed, and I haven't had a chance to ask him. But I do believe I've talked with his daughter, and she's confirmed that the chairman's wife looked at that logo. What's the last two? All right, you need a soft. Let's just do a soft fat
Right.
at the end. And the agency adopted it. They said, "Yeah, that looks great."
Yeah. And most people don't even know they're seeing that.
I know.
So
Now
they go,
Now you'll never look at the stuff.
you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it that same way.
I
know.
love that. I love that. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, let's talk about the next career that you had and what you're doing in the future. Cheers to that.
Cheers again.
Thank you again. Yeah. We'll see you back. Welcome back to Business on the Vine. We are sitting here chatting with Jim Keys. You have a beautiful book called Education is the Freedom, and I want to be talking about that here. But before we get to that,
Sure.
let's talk about your time at Blockbuster. What did you learn there
Sure.
that you could share with others?
Yeah, Blockbuster. In fact, I may write my next book. May be a working title now. Blockbuster's Rewind.
Oh,
The case study in change management.
beautiful.
Yeah, because people are missing the valuable learnings through Blockbuster.
Yes.
I learned more in 5 years at Blockbuster than in 20 years at 7-Eleven.
Fine.
Well, and here's why. So on the surface, every one of your listeners will have a couple of perceptions.
Yes.
One will be, oh, this must be the guy that turned down Netflix for $50 million, right? They're all
No, that's
winning.
not.
No, it wasn't me. It was 7 years before I got there. And their market cap was terrible. Their stock was 79 cents a share. You know, anyone that says that, is, did you buy the stock at 79 cents?
Yeah.
You know, genius that was, as hindsight vision. And by the time I got there, the market cap was 1.3 billion.
Yeah.
Still not a problem. First thing we did, they were still doing DVDs by mail. My very first act was to buy a streaming video company from the studios who had all the content. So we had 3,000 titles already digitized. Netflix is still doing DVDs by mail.
Yeah. So you're already ahead of the game.
Already had a chance to line up all of the old titles exclusively. But then here's why. Lehman Brothers collapses. Blockbuster has $1 billion debt. My job as CEO goes from transforming the company to saving the company, basically, because we've got to retire that debt. We have to find a solution for it. And so it was quite a challenge. I mean, we had all of the business challenges. We had activist shareholders. We had suppliers who were nervous about the future. We had the press speculating on what will happen to Blockbuster.
Right.
Will they file for
You're
bankruptcy?
big there too.
Exactly. Exactly. We had global issues. We had local issues. Franchisees that were concerned. Employees upset. So all of the dynamics of any entrepreneurial opportunity just came into play.
And the best person.
Well, so we had all of the dynamics
Right.
of business challenges at play.
Yes.
And if one digs into the real history of Blockbuster, there's such rich learnings, cash management, and all of the elements that an entrepreneur has to manage. It's just a matter of testing.
Yeah. Right. It's just his job. What did you learn from there that you could glean onto a business owner, who is setting out, maybe has all of these are all of these cylinders are running, right? They're all perfect. And all of a sudden, kink, 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 kink. What is our step? What are the steps we should be taking to analyze? Is it a problem or is it not a problem?
Well, the first thing is
Mm-hmm.
it's all about change management
Yeah.
and recognizing that change does lead to opportunity. So I saw the opportunity in this crisis. One of those opportunities that I was trying to chase was Google, who had also a problem. We had a problem. We came together. We were solving a problem together. They had YouTube that people were streaming illegally movie content. I had streaming from movies. We were going to come together. YouTube, everything free. Blockbuster, everything paid. Total aggregation. Fabulous solution. So in change can be opportunity, but then all of a sudden something else happens. Now I've got adversarial shareholders out there pushing the companies into bankruptcy, knowing that the value of the inventory is greater than the value of the debt. And so a rumor leaks that we were going to file for bankruptcies. Google pulled its deal. And the reality is, those are things out of your control. So what you do then is critically important. I could have been the victim and just said, let it go, and let it go to Chapter 7, which would have been a total liquidation. But instead, I stayed the course. Found another strategic investor, Dish.
Oh, gosh, that great. Was that work?
Yes, and we ultimately sold the company to Dish and gave Blockbuster a chance to deliver that debt.
Yeah, I love that. How did that affect you as a CEO? Because, we go out on this, that, this is going to be fantastic. Everything's going to be fantastic. And then the day that you have to kind of go, ooh, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
How do we pull up our bootstraps and do it again?
You have to know that it's not person.
Yeah, it's business. That's how we hear it all the time, right? It's not business.
But as humans, it's so hard.
I could have done this and I wouldn't have.
Oh, yeah, no, it's hard. You self-doubt, all that stuff creeps into your head, and it's all negative stuff, and it's not truth. So, I had a healthy dose of it. I came from 7-Eleven, where just all of the press around 7-Eleven was fabulous because we had a great run of 10 years of same-store sales. We took the stock price up from almost less than $4 a share to $40 a share.
And global.
And it was global. So I'm getting positive press in China and in Asia, all over Asia. Then I go into the situation where, and probably one of the worst days was this article in the New York Post, and they put a half-page full-color picture of me, the headline, Blockbusted, and I had a Pinocchio nose. And it was not pretty. And then, you get calls from your buddies and your family.
What's going on over there? Oh, yeah.
Jeff, lying to the press. And no, we weren't going to file for bankruptcy, but the perception was that we were. So they published this. That kind of thing, when that hits, you're human, it hurts. But you must force yourself to recognize it's not about you.
Right.
It's business. Someone stands to make money at your expense. And that's the way it works. And I can complain about it. I can be the victim, or I can still keep my head up and say,
Did you, because I think about, how I might react to that and say, okay, and make a gratitude list. Gotta find some good in this. My gosh, is it a gratitude list? Is it an internal? Is it just move on as quickly as you can to just put it behind you? What are some thoughts there?
I've got a balance, and for everybody, I think they can, turn these different things. They can turn prayer, they can turn meditation. There's a balance that I discovered recently. I didn't know that I knew that smart. Killer's talent. It was actually a pope who came up with this expression, John Paul.
Okay.
Second, who wrote a treatise on faith and belief.
Okay.
And is that's a message you want to hear.
We're being anointed.
We are.
We're holy
It's
ones.
holy ones. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Folks, John Paul saying, see, pay attention to this one. He is a setting that. So
Yeah,
it's really
I love it. A lot.
so
So the Pope said,
he did a post. He said, look, there's two elements, faith and reason, and they're like two ways. And one way is stronger,
or what your
more surface. And these two ways are what elevate human spirit to the truth. And
wow.
and so in those times when you've done everything you can to use knowledge,
Right, to reason.
to fix a problem, and it's still not working out, great wish it work. And you must solve that things I can do for that on the stage. I've done everything I can do.
Yeah.
I use the best information I can. And if it still doesn't work, there will be a silver lining in this cloud. You just can't see it yet.
Yeah.
But darn it, I will find it.
Yeah, I love that. And it's like the circling the dream, right? You feel like you're circling the dream. And to your story here, it's like that's what's happening. You're circling this reason and you can't figure out the reason, you're not getting the answers, you're not. And then when you turn to faith, all of a sudden it comes back up like this. You're like, now I get it. Now I'm seeing this because I'm up here, not down there.
It is.
But, yeah.
I can give you an ancient philosopher. I can give you Yoda. Which would you prefer?
Well, how about you?
All right, we'll go with Yoda. So Yoda actually references this in Star Wars. We think Star Wars is just this fun little movie. There's a lot of learning, a lot of beautiful learning in Star Wars. He's teaching Luke the importance of being a Jedi. And he must have knowledge. He must learn how to be a Jedi. He must learn the lightsaber, et cetera. But at the end of the day, he also must have, may the Force be with you. It's a beautiful metaphor for faith, right? So his advice to Luke was, Luke, fear is leads to the dark side.
Yeah.
And the dark side, fear is part of ignorance, and it leads to anger and hatred and violence, but you can reverse that cycle.
Okay, so we're going to be right back after this quick break. Welcome back. So, Jim, I really thank you so much for sharing all this beautiful wisdom. And this is very high level wisdom and something that's very important for business owners because we can get in the nitty gritty. Like, tell me the thing I need to do. Tell me the one thing I need to happen here. And I know that you are on a mission right now for something. And I'm gonna make a wine reference. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's right. We'll see if it's going to be. But in the vineyards, we have to do a lot of pruning. And by the way, this is very faith-based too, that if we prune, we grow much, much bigger. There's some pruning that you want to see in our economy and in what's happening so that our children can grow substantially bigger.
Yeah.
Share with us what you're up to.
Yeah, I've been actually working very aggressively with the administration, not just nationally, but state by state issues as well. We are caught up in a cycle of victimhood. Our children are not learning. Our literacy rate is as much as 50% with American eighth graders. The United States of America. How's it even possible? But if you look at all the dynamics and family issues and school issues, and there's a whole host of reasons, but we're so caught up on the blame and short-term fixes and the politics, we've kind of politicized it. So what I'm encouraging people is to get out of this rut of perceptions that we're in, because we're mired in perceptions. Kids are being taught the wrong things. They're, what are they reading? Oh my gosh, they can't read. That should be the biggest problem. I wouldn't worry about what's in the library. The kids aren't even in the library. Right? So we're so caught up in perceptions. It's time for us to step back and have perspectives. And that's literally what I've captured on the title of my book and the image of my book. Because this world, from perspective, then you step back, is a beautiful place. You don't see boundaries of wars or religions. See this beautiful planet. When you return to Earth from space, you now get mired in perceptions and beliefs, and perceptions and cause that cycle of ignorance and fear and anger and violence. So how do we avoid that when it comes to education? What I'm encouraging it, for all of us to step back, take a deep breath. We say, we've transformed retail, media, commercial space. How many industries have we transformed with the power of technology?
Right. We're sitting here in, I don't know if you know this, we're sitting here in Loudoun County, Virginia, and 97% of all internet traffic comes from this county because AOL started here.
Yeah.
So we're the hub of all internet traffic in the world.
Think about how little we've done today to use technology to transform work. It's not the online learning that we had to do during the pandemic. That's during this meeting. It's almost damaging in a way because people thought it's our hunts.
Yeah.
But we can build, this is what I'm recommending, I'm calling it the mega idea. You're on make education great again. But to harness the power of technology, the internet education technology, if you will. So imagine turning your child loose with any device and saying, I don't care where in this universe, in this metaverse, if you will, because everything in that safe, walled-in environment, education, content, could be a TikTok, could be Khan Academy, could be Google Classroom, but it's all there, available to every student in the country, every single student, every classroom. We worry about student engagement. We're still teaching with blackboards or whiteboards and books. Sit there on their devices.
Yeah. They want we like it, right?
Yeah,
We
we like
like gaming, right?
Exactly.
Not that, well, I don't like that kind of gaming, but we like the gamification.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, we have a lot of our friends going, while they're scanning the internet and looking at memes, we should get our kids off these devices. Right. You're not going to put the genie technology.
Right.
Let's embrace it. Let's use it to educate our children. And this is all possible. It's all possible. What it starts with is a vision. I'm trying to plant seeds with a big idea.
Yeah.
Let's light up our schools. Let's not. I want our leadership to have JFK in.
Yeah, which is what he's doing.
No, 1962. You remember John Kennedy?
Yeah.
1962 said we're going to put a man in this decade.
Yeah. And
Not
everyone
because
freaks
he
out.
sees you, but because it's hard. Everybody
Yeah.
freaked out. That's
Yeah.
why wouldn't our leadership step up? This is my call.
And so,
We're going to have the best education system in the world in this decade.
Yeah.
We're going to have 100% literacy in America by the third grade. We're going to have every ranking in America. We're going to go from the middle of the pack with OECD countries, which we are in math and science and reading. So we're going to go from the 50th percentiles to the top in this decade. It's possible.
I love
Leadership.
that. I love that. Yeah, and I think that our leadership, when it's competitive, we'll see it, right? That'll be part of it. It's like, oh, I want to be number one, right? So
It is.
that's going to be really interesting to see. And I know you're working with somebody on this too.
I am. I'm been meeting with the Secretary of Education. We've got another meeting coming up. Praying that this gets to senior leadership and even to states. I mean, states a little easier on a federal basis. I don't know much about education, but I do know about scale.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is the scale issue. The tools exist that are available at scale to all of our students. So yes, it is infinitely possible. I do believe that we can make it happen. I think the challenge will be to deep lessons. We have to take this out of the realm of politics. It's about our kids.
Yeah, and getting to the real group. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I love this perspective. I always do giraffes and turtles. Same kind of thing. A giraffe has a different perspective. All a turtle looks at is grass all day.
Yeah,
Kids
exactly.
don't have no perspective.
Be a giraffe.
Yeah, be a giraffe. That's what it is. Is like, let's take this education to being, out there. Thank you so much for all of your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. It's been great to get to know you a little more, and I can't wait to see you again.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you. How can someone get in touch with you?
I have a website, James W. Keys, K-E-Y-E-S, jameswkeys.com. They can learn more about the book at Education is Freedom, the title of the book, educationisfreedombook.com.
Okay, great.
And I'm on social media. I've become a bit of a social media expert.
Right. And you're traveling all over the world, speaking and sharing all of your ideas. So, that's a great part of getting closer.
At J Keys Author on Instagram, TikTok, and everything. And, I hope I'm out there trying to change one life at a time just to help people succeed.
Thank you so much for that last little bit of information and a quote. Very much. Thank you so much for joining us today on Business on the Vine, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Thank you for joining us on Business on the Vine. If you found value in today's conversation and would like additional support, go to supportfromjen.com. Remember, the best ideas are always discovered on the Vine, so keep innovating, stay inspired, and continue to grow.